Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to the match extra time segment to Aston Villa 2, Everton 1. Everton make it 2 defeats in a row. As the season obviously gets off to a really disappointing start. It's a tough start to the season. I'm joined by Paul and Mike from the Unholy Trinity. We're going to get straight into it. I'll start with you, Paul. What was your sort of reaction to that on Saturday? It was obviously a disappointing result. I think Chelsea was a bit of a free hit, but that's a lot more disappointing, I think, to lose that.
Yeah, it was disappointing, but it wasn't anything that made me kind of throw my toys out the pram and start really being worried for the rest of the season. It's what we spoke about last week when we did the preview. It would sting, wouldn't it, if we lost that game to Gerrard, knowing the carry-on out of them, and the fact that I don't think Aston Villa are any great shakes, or they're not going to be any great shakes this season. So it was a game that you looked at on paper, even given all the problems we've got, and you should have thought to yourself, you know what, we're good for a point there at least, as long as we just go there and don't do anything stupid. And I don't really think we did do anything stupid. Maybe Decore could have did better for the first goal, but it was a world-class finish by Danny Ings, and even though they had a lot of the possession throughout the game, I don't think Jordan Pickford was worth too much. Just we didn't work their goal anywhere near enough either, but we didn't really expect that considering all the injuries we've got. So it was disappointing, yeah, very disappointing, but it's nothing to sort of dwell on, not at least not for me. We just have to go again against Nottingham Forest and hopefully we can get some points on the board.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting concerning now that we still haven't brought a striker in, because that's the reason we've lost both these games, I think. Because I think we would have given both even Chelsea, I think we would have given a really good game if we had the personnel up top.
Yeah, that's played a big factor, but so is the fact that we've had just the injuries are already piling up, aren't they? We've had 3 players go off injured now in the first 2 games, and we've had 4 injuries if you count the fact that Calvert-Lewin couldn't even get to the first game before he got something severe happen to him. And when Cody went down, really looking hurt, then I was watching it in a pub with Terry. I just near threw my pint glass to the floor, thinking, "Oh my God, what is it that the football and gods have got against us?" But the striker's the absolute priority, because this front three is just absolutely not working, and we're not going to pick up many points at all, if any, over the next couple of weeks if we just keep using that same front three. I know we're just doing what we're making the most of what we've got at the moment, but we have to get a striker in, otherwise Frank's not going to be picking up any points anytime soon.
They've got to see sense and do it sooner rather than later, because we can't just keep losing games. Like, I know there's loads of football to be played. You know, there's only got 36 games left. You know what I mean? But it's just, we don't want to be going on this losing streak. We don't want to lose to Forest at home, because I think that'd really sort of
set the alarm bells off. Yeah,
the alarm bells off, exactly. I think, but there's a very good chance we lose at home to Nottingham Forest if we don't have a striker in that game. So
yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, we'll have to just cross. We're getting linked with strikers, which is good to see. It'd be really, really disappointing if there was no hints or any rumours of anything. But there seems to be a lot of trustable sources who are saying that Everton are definitely looking at strikers, and there's people that scouting, there's people that they're preparing bids for. There was that rumour that there's some player from the French league who's actually in the city, isn't he? I think it's a lad from Rennes. I don't know if he is or not.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying is basically it does sound like there is going to be movement very soon. Whereas if back during the Moyes era, when we had no money to rub together, we just had to go into a season knowing full well we had no chance of filling a gap in the squad that desperately needed filling, because we couldn't. But I am confident that we are going to get a striker. It just depends on who it is and what we get him for.
I'm just traumatised, I think, by the whole 2017 when we brought in all the number 10s but didn't have a striker, and I just don't want us to do another summer like that. I'm getting really concerned now.
I'm still traumatised when we brought in Dennis Strachwalesi. No one had heard him in 2011, whenever that was. We needed a striker, and we got Royston Drenthe, who was some lunatic from Real Madrid, and Strachwalesi, who worked on a market stall in Argentina. So,
but yeah, in a nutshell, basically, we're getting very desperate when it comes to just bring the striker in, just get it done. It's a major priority now, because it's holding us back very badly. It's the difference between us. I think we win at least one of those games if we have a striker.
we've already seen what we need, what we probably already knew, but we've seen it undeniably in front of our eyes now, which is Anthony Gordon can't play as a centre forward. Neither
He
can
never was a
Damari
centre
Gray.
forward.
No, he's not. But even when you try and put him there for a game, he can't hack it, and neither can Damari Gray, and neither can Dwight McNeil. By the look of it, the three of them interchanged a fair bit, didn't he, throughout the game? But neither one of them is anywhere near capable of leading the line. So we need to find someone, and that we can't be resorting to Solomon Rondon. So we just have to get something done quickly.
Needs to be really swift. And on the injuries, obviously, like you said, Corey was like the latest in a long line of them. What is it like we're doing wrong? Like, why are we getting so many injuries? I have a feeling it's
mate. If I knew that, I'd be on my own island somewhere getting a tan. Honestly, no one knows the answer to that. I imagine the only person who possibly knows the answers works at Everton, and they're not allowed to say, are they? So it's a question as old as time. That why do Everton get so many injuries, and why is it all down to bad luck? Nobody knows.
I'm just thinking, is it down to bad luck or because we're that technically rubbish that we have to overstretch ourselves so much?
Probably a bit of that, but it's happened under numerous managers who all have different training methods and different ideas. It was the same back under Koeman. It was the same under David Moyes for a lot of his tenure. It was the same as under Ancelotti. It was the same under Fat Spanish Waiter last summer. It's the same again now under Frank Lampard. It just seems to be a club problem. And if we'd have known what the problem is, I think it would have been sorted 4 or 5 years ago. Well, goodness knows what the answer is to that.
Michael, come to you on this one. So obviously the game went the way it did. It's disappointing, obviously, to lose that game. But was there anyone in particular who impressed you in the game?
I thought defensively we were pretty sound. Connor Code was pretty solid on his debut. I thought Patterson, I think he's getting better now. The first 2 games of this season, we're starting to see why we probably spent the money on him that we did. But the likes of, the front three didn't work. We know that. We know we've got an issue in regards to the striking department, which hopefully we do rectify this week. Onana came on, great 15-minute cameo. I know he made a mistake, but I think he's trying to do the right thing. He's very progressive, big, strong lad. Wants to take the ball forward, wants to get involved. Could have scored, got an assist. I think there was still quite a few positives on the day. Opportunity lost maybe, but like you've already said, if we had a striker, I think in the first 2 games you at least pick up a point in each. You come away with 2 points as opposed to none. Because that was the difference. Villa had a couple of strikers, and that was the difference, really, wasn't it? Because they had a bit of the ball, but they weren't doing much with it. And Everton, I thought, were pretty solid. So, from a defensive viewpoint, I think all defenders looked absolutely fine. It's now okay. Well, we look pretty solid, but we've got to become a side that remains solid at the back, but causes problems going forward. And the only way to do that is to bring in 1 or 2 attacking players, a central striker. It could be Rondon starting at the weekend, maybe. I thought he looked okay when he came on, caused a few issues, won headers. He set up a couple of chances as well, which is what he'd be there to do. So it shows you what a difference a proper central striker can make to the Frank Lampard system. But we all know it was set up for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. It was for his strengths. He falls foul of an injury, a day or 2 before the season starts, and we are where we are. But plenty of positives. But you still feel that one player short of getting maybe even 4 in the first 2 games.
Definitely, and I know Paul. He's not your cup of tea at all, Rondon, and I don't rate him at all myself. But it's got to be better now. Having seen what we've seen, it's got to be better to use him than to use Gordon, Gray, McNeil as a central striker.
Yeah, he's at least a presence, isn't he? He'll draw a marker only, whereas Anthony Gordon, bless him, was just getting knocked off the ball every time he tried to run at somebody. He was trying to do the right things, but he's not built to lead a line, is he? And he's not been trained to lead a line, and neither is Damari Gray either. Rondon, if there's not, I pray to God we're going to get a striker in before the Nottingham Forest game. But if for some reason we haven't, and he's not ready to play yet, then it's going to have to be Rondon who leads the line. But yeah, as you said, he came on the pitch and we definitely improved when he did. But I'm not even going to go there. I was going to say something then, but I'll leave it. But yeah, if Rondon is the only option, if it's Rondon or playing Anthony Gordon again up front come Saturday, then it's probably just going to have to be Rondon and maybe throw whoever gets dropped in place of Rondon, throw them on for the last 20 minutes or so, hopefully when the defenders are a bit tired and they'll get a bit more space to run into.
Definitely. But obviously in terms of the Villa game now, just what would you change any other personnel for the next game? It's one of those we want to move on from pretty quickly because it wasn't the way. I mean, it was a disappointing defeat, but it's not the worst performance. There's things to build on. Is it just about getting more personnel in now?
Yeah, you'd like to think that just Garner Gay, if that deal ever finally gets over the line, it's going to be done before Nottingham Forest. But let's just play devil's advocate and say that falls through or something like that. Takore, I don't know what his injury is. He went off limping, didn't he? But even before the injury, I thought he was having a very poor one. He needed to be better for the goal. And
poor last week, I think, against Chelsea too. I think
he's been poor for a while. Do you know what I mean? He hasn't had any like absolutely dreadful performances where you single him out like a lot of other players have. At least not any that I can think off the top of my head. But his levels have just gone down compared to what they were for the first 12, 18 months when we bought him, when he was playing under Carlo. His levels have just not been good enough. And if we had more options or more realistic options to play in the centre of midfield, then he'd have been dropped months ago for me. It's just, who do we drop him for? Andre Gomez? No, because he's even worse. Alan's never fit enough and is usually not the right fit for whatever system we're trying to play, at least under Frank. And Tom Davies has been injured for a while. I will say that about Tom Davies. I thought he did quite well when he came on. He had that dodgy first 10 minutes where he picked up that booking, but I don't even blame him for that. He was sold short for the pass, and he had to. I think Gordon tried to link up with him, and Gordon's pass back to him was really poor, and Villa intercepted it, and he had to just basically foul whoever it was he fouled just to stop the breakaway. But when he got that card, I think it was he came on with on about 30 minutes, didn't he, for Takore, and he was booked within 5. So I remember thinking, Davis on a yellow card for an hour left here. He's nailed on for a second red here. And he nearly got it because he made that rash foul on the edge. It wasn't a foul. He made that rash tackle on the edge of our box, didn't he? Which ended up being an absolutely spot-on challenge. He got the ball, but I thought Davis, especially in the second half, seemed to really calm down and put in the type of performance that Tom Davis has seldom put in over the last few years. So if we haven't got another centre mid in by the Saturday, and maybe Onana's not fit to play a full 90 because he got 15 minutes there, but we don't know where his fitness levels are exactly, I wouldn't be against giving Tom Davis some more minutes because he's a midfielder who's basically fighting for his Everton career now. Everything that's going on, isn't he? So I just wanted to mention that. I thought Davis, other than the first 10 minutes where he was a bit all over the place, Davis, I thought, did well overall.
Yeah, so it could be a case of maybe he plays next game, but I think regardless of how fit he is or not, I think Takore probably needs some time off the firing line.
I don't think his passing's good enough myself. I mean, if he's going to be in the team, then I'd play him the way Carlo predominantly played him, which was as a ball winner. I mean, not necessarily a sitting number 6 in front of the back 4, but
he was more of a Ghana type, wasn't he?
Yeah, more of a James McCarthy type. Now, I don't think he's a patch on what James McCarthy was when McCarthy was fit and was at it in that first year under Martinez. But he's the similar type of player where all he's there for is to press the opposition. I think when he gets on the ball, he's not very good. Doesn't score as many goals, you'd think. I don't remember him scoring. I don't think he has many shots either, does he? Not that I can remember. He's not really the type of player to take it on his right foot and drill one in at the keeper. And he doesn't spot a pass well enough and play it out to the wing. He just sort of carries the ball and goes for the easy option. Maybe I'm being harsh on him, but Takore's form has just not been good enough for a long time. And I just don't think his skill set is integral to what we're doing, where you think, well, even if he's in poor form, you've got to leave him in there because it will just be losing something if we take him out the team. I think the only thing we lose if we take Takore out the team is his presence, his strength. But if we've got that Onana now, then he'll make up for it, won't he?
Hopefully, yeah. But yeah, we'll wrap this one up anyway because the game's pretty much just been and gone. We need to move on and we need to right many of the wrongs we've mentioned in terms of bringing some personnel in and improving the situation going into Forest. But I'd like to. I think it's safe to say we can just draw a line under this one and hopefully turn things
Yeah,
around sooner rather than later.
it's crap. I don't like losing to Aston Villa because the sort of a club who I view as rivals. Maybe it's going back to the old Moyes O'Neill years where we were always competing just outside the top four, and they're a club who've been around a long time and got a lot of history. And I think Everton Aston Villa is the most played fixture in the top flight. So I think they fall into a lot of the same brackets as us. They're a massive club who the media just tend to overlook and pretend aren't important in favour of other clubs who haven't achieved half as much.
They're important now because of who's in the bloody dugout, but
yeah, but that's another reason why you ain't losing to them, because you know Gerrard will have got home skipping, having beaten us and put us under a bit of pressure. But you've just got to move on and get the best of it. And hopefully, when we play them again in the second half of the season at Goodison, we're in a much different place and we've got players available and we can give them a good spanking.
You're very wishful thinking when Everton's concerned, but we'll wrap it up there. Everton 2-1 defeat at Aston Villa. Let us know your opinion. Drop us a comment, give this video a like and subscribe for more content, but we'll move straight on to the next game. We've got Forest at the weekend and hopefully we can turn it around. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching on the Toffee Blues.